welcome to the crypto jungle. My name is Blue the Bear, and here on the channel we take a zoomed out and macro approach to the markets. We're not going to shill to you. We're just going to read the charts as we see them without bias. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin, as always, and we're going to take a look at Bitcoin dominance. If you're new to crypto, meaning that if you got into crypto 2020, 2021, you're going to need to pay attention to this chart. So first off, we'll start off with the price of Bitcoin, and then we're going to talk about Bitcoin dominance because it's setting up for something that you've probably never seen. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the king of all crypto. That is Bitcoin. So we'll start out with Bitcoin on the higher time frames. I want to start out here on the monthly. And monthly candle, not a great candle. We closed a new low last month in May. So that's showing that we have more weakness inside of this consolidation. This, how many months is it consolidation? This now 15-month consolidation. So over a year, we've been up in this range, and we've broken down. So, you know, point to the bulls, there is a lot of demand. Let me actually zoom in here. So you can see there is, we call this a demand tail. When you have a large wick on the bottom of a candle, it's a demand tail. And then when you have a large wick on the top of a candle, it's a supply tail. And usually, not always, but usually, these will signal that there's an ability for a price to go up. You can see an example of that here in the COVID shakeout. Very large demand tail here, and then that pretty much sparked off the bull market. So certainly not as exaggerated here. It's not a huge wick on this candle, but it's larger than the body. So the wick is larger than the body. So it does have the potential to you know, prove that this candle could end up being a green candle. So what we would want to see, well, let's actually take a look at the shorter term. So let's go down to the weekly. Oh, before I do that, actually, there's a few price levels that I want to make note of. First is the low, the candle body close of this low, which is at around $35,000. The other one is the top of this candle wick, which is $40,000. This is where I anticipate a potential rally to conclude. So if we do get a little bit of a relief bounce, if we take a look at the weekly here, you know, everybody was talking about, oh, we've never had 7 weeks in a row of red. Well, we've had a lot of red. So it is logical that we can have a little bit of a recovery. So where I would be looking for that recovery to conclude would be in that general range. Now, we haven't given the full go-ahead that we're heading up to these levels just yet, but there's definitely an increasing possibility that we head up to $35,000 to potentially $40,000. So we're watching that level very closely. Here on the weekly, we've got some room to the upside for sure, and then that would, you know, coincide with a bearish retest of this general support range that we have lost. We've lost the support back here. So I'd be watching in this general area. So it doesn't even look like we'll make it all the way up to 40,000. That's just kind of the general range. If we break above 40K, now we need to start to entertain more bullish ideas. But as it stands right now, that's not the case. So we need to proceed with the bias, which is a bearish bias. Further downside is the goal here. All right, now for those who joined in to this crypto bull market in 2020, 2021, there is something that you haven't experienced yet, and it only happens in the context of an uptrend on Bitcoin dominance. Okay, so basically, you know, you are already well aware that the performance of Bitcoin equates to the performance of your altcoin. If Bitcoin's in a downtrend, your altcoin's in a downtrend. If Bitcoin's in an uptrend, your altcoin's in an uptrend. When Bitcoin does well, your altcoin does well. When Bitcoin does poorly, your altcoin does poorly. Now, what you haven't experienced is Bitcoin pumping and your altcoin dumping. This can happen when Bitcoin dominance is in an uptrend. So we continue to break past barriers here in dominance. We're sitting at about 47.5% dominance with a break above 49. If we get above 49, even 50% dominance and really start to trend in that direction, you may encounter a time where Bitcoin pumps, your altcoin dumps. Then when Bitcoin corrects, your altcoin corrects even harder. So a Bitcoin bear market is just, it's really bad for altcoins. So if you have a 100% altcoin portfolio, well, you're either going to weather the storm or, you know, I don't know. You're kind of stuck at this point, but there's definitely room to for more downside. Let's see if I can do exposed, I think. So watch out for that. A clean break above 49% in Bitcoin dominance. My ultimate target for this bear market cycle bottom in terms of altcoins is Bitcoin dominance right at around 60 to 63%. So that's where I think we're going to end up. Now, that being said, you know, we are at an area of resistance inside of a range. So when you're in a range and you get to the top of the range, you need to assume that there's a high probability of a reversal. So we can actually reverse back down. If we do reverse back down, altcoins will begin to perform well again. But as it stands right now, we've yet to do so. And as we zoom into this general area, you can see that we keep taking the stairs up. We keep heading to higher levels. So maybe we need to get up to 49% before the reversal. It's hard to say. There is a little bit of a divergence happening here. Yeah, you got to be careful with traditional TA with a dominance chart. It doesn't always work out the same. So I kind of ignore patterns. I kind of ignore RSI and other stuff like that. But a range and a breakout, I find that to be very valuable information. All right, let's catch up with the chat and then we'll get into some of the major altcoins. Kahuna Organics, aloha. Chris Gorgio. Good morning, Blue. What are your thoughts for BTC and ETH's bottom? Do you believe it could be the next 1 to 2 months later? Thank you. So time is very, very hard. And price is pretty hard. I think that, you know, if we continue this rally and start to test under the 35 to 40, then there is the bull case to be made that the monthly candle will be green. It'll close green, meaning. Or if we get up to these levels, maybe supply is really in control and is able to cause the reversal to happen, you know, mid-month. It's still early in the month. We're only a week in. So, you know, time is really, really hard. As far as targets, the range is quite wide as well. For me, I see a lot of confluence at 20K in terms of moving averages and previous performance, the 200-week moving average, there's a lot of confluence at around 20K. The only thing I don't like about the confluence at 20K is everybody's calling for 20K. The whole market's calling for 20K. So for me, I'm actually thinking that we head down to, you know, 12, 13, potentially even 11K. Just because we have so much more support built in that range. So I still believe that, you know, a $12,000 Bitcoin is not off the table. And this kind of goes into what we're seeing in the equities. So equities look really, really shaky. So let me actually zoom out here, the NASDAQ on the weekly. It's a very large shakeout. And if the NASDAQ breaks this lower level, if the NASDAQ on the CME futures here breaks below 11,000, then it's going to head much lower. Now, we are not decoupled from traditional finance. Crypto is looked at as a tech stock on leverage. We're very, very correlated with the American indices and what's going on in traditional finance. So if the NASDAQ breaks below 11,500, it would not be out of the realm of possible at all to see Bitcoin at around a $14,000 to $12,000 mark. We got to take it one level at a time, and in the short to medium term, it's looking like we're ready for a short-term rally, a little bit of a relief bounce off of this 9 weeks of red here. But ultimately, I still think that supply is in control. I still think that the bears have more power over the bulls. I think that a lot of the bulls haven't learned the bear market lessons. That's coming from a sentiment point of view, which in trading is it's very important. You know, one of the best investors in the world is Warren Buffett, and he trades on sentiment. Buy when others are fearful and sell when others are greedy. So that's kind of a sentiment trade. I don't think enough market participants from 2020 and 2021 have felt pain. And that may be a statement that doesn't make sense because, you know, we're really down off the highs. If we take a look at, let's say, Avalanche, you know, Avalanche is sitting, you know, it's already made it down 85%. I don't think we're done yet. I don't think we're done yet. I think that a crypto bear market is relentless, and it's relentless, and what's the word? Maybe we'll just go with relentless. It's nonstop. And as soon as you think that there's a recovery, there's a dump around the corner. And I think, you know, going back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show, where Bitcoin can dump and cause your altcoin to dump, we haven't seen that yet. That's another thing I'm waiting for, because there's still a lot of surprises that the new participants need to experience. And this is purely from a sentiment point of view. So I just don't think that we've reached our bear market lows yet. There's still hope. I guess it can be boiled down to that. Is there's still hope out there that we can reverse? And I just think that bear markets teach lessons. If we don't do that, then that just means that there's a larger bear market further on down the road. You know, if this whole thing ends up being an accumulation, which I really don't think, like, that's a hell of a fucking range. Really, really large trading range that we're looking at. Like, if this ends up being a reaccumulation on the macro, cool, we'll have a nice price advance, but we're going to have a devastating bear market. So I would rather go into capitulation here and trade sideways for many months while alts continue to bleed out. So if we do capitulate here down to around that $14,000 mark, and then Bitcoin starts to trade sideways underneath 20K, I think that's going to really mess with a lot of people's heads. And that's going to cause altcoins to bleed out a lot more, so that the altcoins reach a retracement of 92 to 95 to 98% of the off of the highs, off of the all-time high. And then I think that we can start to build the cause around a potential bull market again. All right, Chris, the greatest trader of all time, Pelosi, just bid a bunch. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's chance for a short-term bounce. You know, Pelosi, she can be a pretty aggressive trader because she knows exactly what's going on. So, you know, maybe we pump. You know, when we're looking at this structure, this is just the shakeout in the NASDAQ. So we have the ability to rally up at least for a double top, potentially even continue. You know, that's not off the table as well. You know, trading is not about necessarily nailing the correct analysis for the future. It's about analyzing what's happening to you right now so that you can position right now and then be the beneficiary of you being correct. So, you know, we could rally up to the top of the range. That's kind of the next goal, right? If we begin to reverse off of this low, the next goal would be getting us up near the high somewhere. And whether that triggers some sort of reaccumulation or some sort of back and forth, chopping action is yet to be seen. But, we've had a large shakeout. So because we've had a large shakeout, we need to probably rally back up. And, crypto's looking to rally. There's a potential rally in the equities. We can take a look at the S&P as well. S&P here on the monthly, a nice little demand like doji, so we can come back up to the top of the channel. Ultimately, there's a lot more room to the downside. It's just how long are we going to take to get there? We can rally and react in short term for a while before we have the large move. So when we look at Bitcoin, there's the possibility to rally up to 35, potentially 40. But ultimately, I still think that supply is in control. I think that the sentiment is still too bearish. There's a lot of hope out there. There's a lot of people that think that they can still make money investing in altcoins, and that's incorrect. And yeah, there's just more of a correction, like the truest meaning of correction. We need to correct the market. Markets are for products to come to market so that people can invest in those products because they're good products. Crypto is 99% scams, charlatans, grifters, people trying to figure out smart and complicated ways to take your money called smart contracts and tokenomics. So, there's still people trying to play that game, and they need to leave. And the only way that they are going to leave is through a capitulation where they finally give up, and then we trade sideways for months while their alts bleed to zero. That's what we need. There's still value in the altcoins, so we're not done. You must know the Fed pivot, potentially. Bail for exit liquidity. Yeah, if she's that close to the alpha, she can definitely position for it. Add DJIA to the Bitcoin chart. Let's take a look. Why are you not adding? Why can I not add? Glitchy. Huh. Not letting me add for some reason. So no. But we can take a look at it and do a comparative. DJIA. Okay. Yeah, this looks like it's ready to roll over. This looks terrible. And you want me to let's do a comparative analysis. For whatever reason, I can't do the compare on the chart. Not sure why. Go with the weekly. Let's log. Auto, let's do 5-year. Auto, 5-year. Okay, so what am I supposed to be seeing here? Average index. BTC is fluctuating around DJIA. I don't see it. See a lot of correlation. Dump, dump, pump, pump, distribution, distribution. Bitcoin dumping right now? Yep. Be dumping. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the altcoins. So we are getting a rejection, or we're testing the liquidity at this level. So if we come back up and hold 31, we'll probably take another swing, probably take another rally, potentially, I don't know right away, but we don't have a lot in our way after we clear this high at 32.3. So you got 4 hours till this candle closes. If we close back on top of 31, we'll probably get a turnaround. Probably get a turnaround here and break the highs. And then there's really not much holding us back from hitting 35. So, you know, if we achieve those $35,000 to $40,000 targets, 38, I don't think we'll actually make it up to 35. But if we make it up there in a shorter time horizon, then that just means that there's a higher likelihood of this monthly candle closing red. Because once we get up there, I think that there's going to be a lot of supply emerging in the markets, and we're not in a position to absorb that. You know, there's just not enough retail investment. There's not enough people coming in. No new people are coming into crypto. It's only the people that got sucked in at the end of 2020 and 2021 and halfway through 2021. That's the only thing those are the only market participants right now. So they're all wrecked. They're all fucking wrecked. Like, everybody's like 80% down. They're not putting new capital in. They're just not. So I do think that if we get up to that $35,000, $38,000 mark, a lot of supply will emerge in the market that can't be absorbed. At this point, it's pretty hard for me to change my bias. This is still looking like redistribution schematic number 4. For those who don't know, redistribution schematic number 4, that's for free, available in the Discord. If you're not in Discord and you're trying to be in crypto, you're doing it wrong. You need to stop getting all of your information 100% from YouTube. You have to do your own research and find different products through networking and through being in communities, in crypto communities. And, you know, the most value that I find for information is on Discord. So, you know, you learn about a project, you get into their Discord, and you have everything at your fingertips. Whatever you're trying to figure out in terms of a specific project, if you're doing research on a project, get into the Discord. Discord is essential. So if you've been watching people talk about Discords this whole fucking bull market and you still haven't started a Discord account, start it. It's free. It's a username and password. It's not hard. It's an intimidating platform when you first get onto it. I understand. It's a weird looking interface, especially when it's new to you, but it's really valuable. And we have a ton of free resources. We have a ton of free courses in the Discord. So if you are noticing that what you were doing in 2020 and 2021 is no longer working, time to get to work. Bear markets are for education. Bear markets are for learning. It's time for you to step up your game and start learning. And we have a ton of free resources in the Discord. What I wanted to point to was redistribution schematic number 4. So it's losing its structure a little bit, but the overall structure is still something that I think is applicable, where you have this shakeout and a trading range at an upper level. Now, when we take a look at Bitcoin, you know, we have these up thrusts, right? These up thrusts breaking the range, and that's not present here. It's more so over here, actually. So it's kind of a mix between the two. But the reason that you get a lot of this bullshit in crypto is because the spot market is basically just the settlement house for the derivatives market. Like, volume on derivatives is probably 10 times the amount of what's going on in the spot markets. So, you know, it's basically just a settlement house. So when people get liquidated, all of those liquidations turn into market buys in the spot market, and you get these big short squeezes. Short squeeze, and then market corrects back to where it needs to be. Short squeeze, market corrects back to where it needs to be. But what was unique about this pump right here, you know, talking about short squeezes, liquidations show up as high volume. So you can see that they're high volume. This one's actually not very good. Let's go to this chart here. This one has a better representation of volume. So this is actually, it's not bad. So it's not just coming out of nowhere. If you look at the volume, there's two kind of signatures to watch out for. There's the signatures that kind of come out of nowhere, and then there's the general volume, like the average volume of the bars. So you can see there's certain signatures that just stick out of where most of the volume is. And when you see that, it's usually, it's showing you something. So here it's showing demand because it's just out of nowhere. And what did it do? It created a long demand wick. Over here, what is it? It was supply at the top. Here, supply at the top. Here, supply emerging in the form of a big red candle. So there was supply. But what's interesting here is, this pump came on relatively low volume. So that is kind of showing an ease of movement. So again, it's going back to the potential of continued rally. Now, if we do rally beyond that high, redistribution schematic number 4, it's not really a tradable schematic anymore. But we'll have to cross that bridge when we get there, because as it stands right now, we're reacting off of a lower low. So we'll see. It could really go any direction right now. Twitch, nobody's commenting in Twitch. Everybody's commenting on YouTube. Yeah, I know. I couldn't. Nedimura, I couldn't do it. Put them in the same figure. I couldn't do it. I tried. I pressed plus. Nothing happens. So trading views not working, and I can't restart it while live on a stream. Some good alpha on Twitter as well. Yeah, but okay. So yes, that's a very good point, Chris. Go to Twitter to hear about stuff. Go to Discord to learn about stuff. You'll hear about everything in Twitter. Now, be careful too. Like, there's certain things that you need to look out for that are kind of dead giveaways in terms of scams. And it can all really be boiled down to, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. But you learn about tickers, you learn about projects, you learn about things on Twitter, and you go and research them and figure out the vibe of the community on Discord. Telegram, I'm really not a fan of. A lot of people gravitate to Telegram because it's a much easier user experience, especially for somebody who's new to kind of diving into crypto projects. But it's just a constant feed of garbage. It's just a constant feed of garbage. Nothing is organized. No key information is placed in certain key spots. It's just a constant feed of when Moon, when Lambo, a bunch of idiots, really. It's all just a bunch of morons talking on a constant feed. Discord, we put the morons in a spot. It's brutal, but it's kind of true. I mean, if you're on any of these free Discords, you know what I'm talking about. Good morning, hard forking. When are you coming back? When are we doing shows? I want to know when everybody, we need to hold hard forking accountable. We want shows. We want content, damn it. Give us content. All right. So a little bit of a reaction here. Let's see where this might hold. Let's go back to Bitcoin here. Again, I think, we've got a few hours to close out on this 4-hour candle. If we find ourselves back up at 31 by the candle close, that's going to be pretty bullish. That's going to be pretty bullish for the short term. And we could absolutely start to head up to that $35,000 mark. If we fail to do so and head back into the range, then this is looking a lot more bearish, and we're not at that point where we can start to rally, and we would need to reconfirm the support down here at around 29.5. If we break through this support, we're going down to 25. So, how's that for giving you a clear price prediction? We'll either go up or we'll go down. We're gonna go up or down. My price prediction. The price predictions are kind of lame to begin with. People, it's just, price predictions are opium. That's all they are. It's just people going on to YouTube to to hear somebody tell them that the price is going to be at a higher price. And it's hopium. You got to cut that shit out. If you want to be a trader, it's about risk management. It doesn't matter if you're wrong. As long as you're mitigating the risk so that when you're right, you win a lot. And when you're wrong, you lose a little. That's how it works. If you're right 50% of the time, but when you win a lot, and when you lose a little, do the math. Are you up or are you down? You're up. You can make millions with a coin flip. Just got to learn about risk management. It is looking kind of dumpy here. So, you know, if we start to trend below this 50 line on the RSI, it's looking pretty weak. We'll have to see. We got a few hours. What's it telling us on the 15-minute? A lot of supply emerged. We're very oversold. You know, we can definitely turn this around. We can turn this around and support that level. Friday. Telegram is really bad. Yeah, it's why I don't have one. And it's also why I make fun of Telegram. Do I still have that in my description? I used to have all my socials and I said Telegram, no. I think that was just a joke. But yeah. How are we doing for time? Back to the altcoins. You guys have been waiting for the altcoins. So Ethereum, it's actually not bad. I'm liking Ethereum. So a lot of the altcoins are actually setting up on macro support. Now, the thing to consider with macro support, I'm going to make this very clear. Macro support means the stakes are high. Okay. So if we break below macro support, it's going to be a very quick, large move. That being said, the stakes are very high here. There's a high probability for a bounce. Here. So, you know, we're looking at ETH. There's a bullish divergence occurring in the RSI here on the daily, sitting at a very strong support level that we've tested. It was the final point of this very large shakeout, retested once, retested twice, and now we're coming back down and retesting it again with a bullish divergence presenting. So it's not bad. It's looking okay. I think if we can bring the RSI, if I match these two lows, I would like to see the RSI come back down and touch this one more time and hold. So that could mean that there's a potential long setup coming up here. Maybe we do kind of wick below, freak everybody out. So get a move kind of like this, where it breaks below support, scares the shit out of everybody, actually closes on top of this, and then we bounce off and we rally in a larger way. There's a lot of setups, there's a lot of potential happening, and what is more common to happen is people go long too early and they get into positions too early because they see glimmers of a recovery, glimmers of a turnaround, and they pile on leverage and they get liquidated. Then when we have that liquidation, we're good to go because the technicals were setting up, so now we're good to go and go unencumbered. So we'll see. That's what I would like. If you see something like this, everybody, this is a free setup. We don't do this all the time, but go ahead, put this on the daily, watch for a low, get to about $1,500. That'll scare the shit out of people. And then if you get a close at that 1,500, you know, not financial advice, but I will be going long. Did you ever check out DFI? Yes, I did. Let me like my picture. DFI. Check it out again. I'll actually take a look at some of the NFTs as well. CoinGecko. Actually, it's right here. Just click it. I did, and I don't like it. And I'll tell you why. I am sick and tired of side chains that have their own token. I'm done. It's stupid. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's time to stop. It's time to stop. It's time for us to move on to the next level, okay? We've been making side chains, and with every side chain, there's a new coin. So if you want faster Ethereum transactions on Polygon, you use Matic. If you want faster Ethereum transactions on Avalanche, you use Avalanche. And I'm fucking done. Side chains, no. It's just a way for developers to launch a product so that they can make money on it. And enough is enough. We're never going to create a sustainable product if we continue to do that. What I want to see is something closer to what Blockstream is doing, which is liquid blockchain. Blockstream. Did I just say liquid blockchain? No, it is the liquid. It's the liquid blockchain. Liquid network. Okay. This is the exact same idea as DFI, which is a Bitcoin sidechain. For those who don't know what this is it's creating decentralized finance on the Bitcoin network. But this is a side chain. This is a side chain. So it's not actually creating it on the Bitcoin network. It's creating a new chain to trade Bitcoin assets. What I like about Liquid Network is it's doing that as well, except its gas token is Bitcoin. It's not exactly Bitcoin, but it's Bitcoin that you lock up into a smart contract that creates a one-to-one token of Bitcoin. This to me is a lot better of an approach. It's a lot more sustainable, and it's honestly the direction that crypto needs to head to if we're going to see another bull market. We tried the sidechain with a separate token model. It does not work. It's not sustainable. What we're going to start to see is layer 2, not sidechain, layer 2. Okay, there's a difference. When you're on a sidechain, you're using a different token. When you're on a layer 2, you're using the same token. So that's what's happening with Ethereum. We have Arbitrum, you use ETH. We have Optimism, you use ETH, although there's talks that they might be going to the OP token, which I think is a complete and utter mistake. You are going to want to have a token that doesn't just base its value on transaction gas. We already have that. It's ETH. Just build a layer 2 that uses ETH. And if we're going to build layer 2s for Bitcoin, use Bitcoin. This is my own personal belief, but I think that, when you do things this way, when you do things with a separate token, what you're doing is you're being a greedy developer trying to launch a product and become an overnight millionaire. When you create overnight millionaires, the incentive to continue to build that product is decreased. If you are an average income earning developer and tomorrow you launch a smart contract that turns you into a multi-millionaire, do you have incentive to continue to build that product? Yes or no? I'm sure some people would, but the vast majority of humans, because we are all humans with similar emotions and incentive models, will stop having the same amount of drive to continue to build that product to the next level. Whereas if you are a Bitcoin investor or an Ethereum investor and you build products that make Bitcoin and Ethereum more robust, yes, it's a slower grind because you didn't fucking launch a token that's now worth billions of dollars. It's a slower grind, but it's sustainable. And it has the right incentive model. So the developers are incentivized month after month, year after year, decade after decade, because the more they build, the more they earn. With the other model where you just launch a token, it's just like, I'm a millionaire, I'm done. Peace out, quitting crypto Twitter for a while, guys. I gotta go sail with some hotties on a yacht. Like, fuck that. That's not how the world works. So that's a hell of a tangent, but for that reason, I am not a fan of DeFi chain, and I much prefer Liquid Network because its gas token is Bitcoin. It brings value to Bitcoin, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to create a decentralized system of lending, borrowing, custody, banking, and we need to do that with the currency that everybody cares about, and that's Bitcoin and ETH. Stephen Burns, I'm late. Wait outside. I'll talk with you. What happened to hard forking? Where's Sean? He's in the chat. He's in the chat. Jasmy. I believe Aurora uses ETH as well. I think they have their own token. Not shilling it, though. I ain't touching any alts. Yeah. Thanks for the info. Makes sense. Yeah, sorry, Matt, I didn't mean to get so, like, animated. This is my own emotions. And emotions need to be taken with a grain of salt. I have my own theories. I'm just some fucking streamer, okay? I'm not, like, some MIT developer. But what I am is somebody who's been in crypto a long time. And I like to feel as though I have a clear understanding of the future of DeFi in terms of sustainability. And I think diluting the market cap of what we're doing here with all of these different tokens is a net negative, not a positive. Again, these are my own opinions. These are not facts. These are opinions. So I want to make that very clear that we don't know what will happen. But I compare the early days of blockchain, which we are in, to the early days of the internet. We had AOL Online, we had or AOL America. We had all these fucking like private internets. MIT had their own internet. And ultimately what ended up happening is we went back to the original internet and we built on top of the original internet. So this is not a popular opinion, by the way, but I think that Bitcoin will be the only blockchain eventually. Again, not a popular opinion, and it is an opinion. But I think that the same thing, like people think that crypto is stocks. They think that crypto is like companies. And it's not. It's a protocol, like the internet. The protocol needs adoption. The internet needs adoption. And then you build things on top of the internet. You build different layers of the internet. And I think it's the exact same thing with Bitcoin. I think that Bitcoin is going to be basically the backbone of Web3. It might take 10 fucking years, if not longer. Like, I'm not unrealistic with my time horizons here. And it could be something else. It could be something else. I just don't think it will be because we're dealing with network effects and adoption, and people go to Bitcoin first. They end up inquiring about Bitcoin. They go there first, then they go get their ass handed to them with altcoins, and then they become Bitcoin maxis. I think that we have the strongest network effect, and what is coming with products like Liquid Network is tokenized stocks. And I think that that's going to be the next bull run. I think that the next bull run is going to be all DAOs and DACs, centralized autonomous organizations and decentralized autonomous companies. That's going to be the next bull market, and I think it's going to be built on top of Bitcoin layer 2. Or both. ETH as well. ETH 2.0. I mean, it's not nothing. We've been working towards ETH 2.0. We'll see what happens with ETH 2.0. But I think that we're going to stop it with the blockchains. We're going to stop it with the smart contract platforms, and we're going to start to actually create our own stock market that's going to be decentralized autonomous organizations and decentralized autonomous companies. In the meantime, Soul Trade got wrecked. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Let's see what the... Got wrecked hard. Oh yeah, we're out. We're out. That long is done. That's why you mitigate risk. Made it very clear, going counter trend here. So get very clear. Anyways, I digress. Let's take a look at some NFTs. Do I have time? Yes. Let's take a look at some of the top NFTs here. Is it a good time to buy Bitcoin? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. It's such a loaded question. And it's not your fault. Don't worry about it. But basically, if we're below the 200, you're not in a bull market. If you're new, I don't know your story. But if you're new to crypto, it's better to wait for a multi-month accumulation. We got to trade sideways for a while. Like, come back in 2025. It's probably, 18 months out from the halving could be a good time to buy. But here, we're just in a macro downtrend, and we just keep hitting lower levels. You can start to DCA in, because when we look at things like the when we look at things like the Bitcoin logarithmic growth curve, which, you know, that model might break soon, actually. Where's my indicators? When we look at the log growth curve, we're at the bottom. We're at the bottom of the logarithmic growth curve. Now, like I said, this could start to break. If we start to break this model, well, we can't use it anymore. But I don't know. If you're going to start stacking sats now with the intent of continually buying every week or every month until the next blow off top in 2025, 2026, then sure. Then you can start buying Bitcoin now. I think it's at an advantageous price. It's at a more advantageous price than it was up at 50K. I have personal opinions that we're going to head down to lower levels. But, you know, I don't have a crystal ball. Nobody does. And if anybody tells you that they know exactly what Bitcoin's going to do, you should probably unfollow them. It's not about knowing the direction. It's about playing the probabilities. So as we're coming down and we are hitting lower levels, the probability of a bottom increases. So we're already at a high probability that a bottom's in. I don't personally believe that the bottom's in, but we're at a higher probability of a bottom being in than when we were up at the top of this green band or the top of this yellow band. So we're at a higher probability. So yes, I mean, you know, you can buy some fucking Bitcoin. If you are going to buy some, use it. Learn about it. Legacy stuff still lurking around. That's still around. More contracts for the no-use coins. Litecoin, let's go. 2.0 makes me kind of nervous. Maybe I'll ask you about it on Discord. Yeah, hit me up on Discord. I think that a lot of ETH is locked up. I know people personally who locked up their ETH at around $200, and they're chomping at the bit to sell. So as soon as that supply becomes available during the merge, you know, there's a lot of people that want to sell their ETH because they watched it go to fucking 4K and now it's down much lower. So there's going to be a lot of selling pressure when the merge happens. Can you look at Looks Rare? Yeah, let's take a look at Looks. Looks Rare, it's an accumulation play. We're sitting at the bottom of this channel here. This could end up being a preliminary support level. There's an incredible amount of weakness in Looks Rare. So I would not be surprised if this ends up capitulating to some pretty low levels. You know, I didn't imagine it being down here at these levels already, but nobody gives a fuck about Looks Rare, basically, from the retail side. Anybody who knows anything about NFTs and new token models that are probably going to spark off the next bull market, I think Looks Rare is one of those outliers that a lot of people don't understand, because the Looks Rare token gives direct value to the investor based on the volume of NFT sales. So when NFT sales are high, the Looks Rare token will be paying you a lot of Ethereum. And I think that that's very, very valuable. I think that's very valuable. That being said, nobody understands that, nobody cares, and we're in a bear market. So fundamentals don't matter in a bear market. The only thing that matters in a bear market is sentiment and capitulation, fear and accumulation. That's it. Fundamentals will never save you. They will never save you in a bear market. So when we take a look at Looks Rare, you know, this could end up being a preliminary supply. I could see it coming down to fucking 10 cents, honestly. I really could see it trading sideways there at around 10 cents. I don't know. But, you know, I'm looking to build up my position. This is a long-term hold. If anything, this will be something that you'll just stake it for like 2 years before it does anything and hope that it pays out some Ethereum to you. But yeah, it's either going to break past this trend line or it's going to grind lower. If the market grinds lower, it'll go lower. But it's very weak. Compare this to any other altcoin. Looks Rare is one of the weaker ones out there. Very, very, very weak structure, no volume, an inability to rally, very weak. How do we get the normal public to adopt BTC when it's perceived the price is so high? A Satoshi. You talk about Satoshis. That's how. We gotta. One Bitcoin gets you 100 million Satoshis. The price is not high. The price is not high. And when exchanges start listing Bitcoin in sats, it's gonna be a fucking game changer. People don't understand that you can buy a fraction of them. Like, I've been messing around with Wallet of Satoshi. How am I doing for time? Doing terrible. Perfect. Wallet of Satoshi. Just fucking around. Just seeing what's what. Like, this is not a flaunt at all. You can't even see it, but you know, I've got sats. I can instantaneously send you sats. It has the highest scalability. It has the highest throughput. It has the fastest time out of anything. Period. End of story. It works instantaneously. And when you start sending people, you know, tens of thousands of sats for a couple $100, they're like, oh, you can get lots of Bitcoins, and then the narrative will change. People just don't, they think they need to buy a whole thing. You don't need to buy a whole fucking Bitcoin. People do kind of want to, but we got to start talking like, well, you could buy one Bitcoin, or you could buy 100 million Satoshis, which are the dollars of Bitcoin. We just got to take it upon ourselves to get that message out there that you can buy as many sats as you want. Sat is like a fraction of a penny. It's a good time to buy some BTs. Yeah. I've used Looks, got paid like $200 in Looks, was pretty sick. Also, if you have high volume NFT, they pay you out in Looks. Yep. If it goes under 30K, I'm definitely not buying. Okay. I mean, okay. I don't know if that will work or not. Well, I mean, then here's the thing. What works is people losing all their money. That's what works. Okay. You want to know where a Bitcoin maxi comes from? They are altcoin traders that get their ass handed to them in the bear market. That's where a Bitcoin maxi comes from. They don't just fall in love with Bitcoin and think that everything else is shit. They're told that everything else is shit when their altcoin takes all of their money away from them and Bitcoin doesn't. That's what creates Bitcoin maxis. So the market is the best teacher. You're looking at this from the point of view of the bull market, when, yeah, if you talk about Bitcoin during the bull market, you're boring as fuck. Why would we talk about that? You're wasting my time. I want to know where I can make money. We're in a bull market. How do I make money? So yeah, but in a bear market, the only thing that holds its value is Bitcoin. And even then, it's a fucking 80% correction. But an 80% correction is way more money than 98% correction. Way more money. Bitcoin maxis are born out of bear markets. All right. Yeah, Wallet of Satoshi. Go download it. All right, we got to take a look at a few NFTs because I already said I would, and then I got to get out of here. All right. I want to take a look at Bored Ape Yacht Club. We're going to take a look at the big ones, guys. Don't show me your garbage, fucking useless NFTs. I don't care. Blue chips only. So Bored Ape Yacht Club, sitting at a support level. And it's sitting at a higher high than this low. Or sorry, sitting at a higher low currently than this low back here. Basically, if you start seeing Bored Ape Yacht Club trading below 68 ETH, it's going to head down to likely there will be a 50% retracement after that. Potentially, it'll hold at 40. But if it starts to trade below 68, it's really going to start unwinding. And if the Bored Ape Yacht Club retraces that much, the entire NFT marketplace will head down. I think the Bored Ape Yacht Club is kind of like the Bitcoin of NFTs. Nobody really cares about like CryptoPunks, really. I mean, everybody's really jazzed about the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And And I think that if that one starts to trend down, it's going to bring the entire NFT market down with it. Now, we've been hearing a lot of noise from Goblin Town. If you follow me on Twitter, I called the top on Goblin Town. The top, you know, I called it here. It was at 8 ETH, 8.5 ETH. And we're just in a retracement getting ready to curl over. If it breaks below 3.8 ETH, it's probably going to trade to damn near zero. This is just it's a scam, really. Like it's a very well marketed NFT with a shit ton of bots. So many bots. Like this NFT has bots on Twitter, Instagram, you name the platform, they are shilling Goblin Town. And all it is just creating awareness so that they can mark up the price, sell their NFTs, and move on. It's a rug. It's a rug. It's not going to be around very long. Mutant Ape Yacht Club. I've heard the Bored Ape Yacht Club could go down to 20 ETH. Well, if everything retraces 95%, what was the high? Minus 95% of that, and that's probably your low on Bored Ape Yacht Club. Mutant Ape Yacht Club. Taking a look at the price here. Similar structure to Bored Ape Yacht Club, not surprising. You know, they're very correlated. If we break below 14.5 ETH on Mutant Apes, I would expect it to at least trade down to 8. Take a look at Moonbirds, and then that'll be it for the blue chips. I'm not going to take a look at individual projects, guys, when it comes to NFTs, just because there's so many and there's just so many rugs. The purpose of taking a look at the blue chips is to measure the health of the NFT market overall. I'm not saying, hey, like, only buy a Bored Ape or you're an idiot. I'm saying the Bored Ape can tell you a lot of NFT market health. Moonbirds, just downtrend. It looks like it could potentially start flattening out here. It'll probably flatten out a little bit lower at 10 ETH, and it'll just stay there for a while. One more, we'll do a Zuki. We'll do a Zuki. Yeah, it'll probably trade much lower. Actually, Azuki will probably capitulate to maybe even 2 ETH. 2 ETH on Azuki. So yeah, I'm not going to take a look at Boki. Just take the macro analysis of the NFT market and apply it to your favorite NFT. And hope that it's not a rug. All right, now I am running over time here. I've got to get into the virtual classroom. So if you guys are interested in the private coaching sessions, if you're interested to learn how to trade, emphasis on learning. We are a educationally focused server. We will teach you everything you need to know about risk management, reading the charts, positioning long, positioning short, using futures contracts, all of the stuff that you're probably wanting to know how to learn. We take care of that in the Discord, and we have private group sessions, coaching sessions as well. So if you are interested, I'm running a promotion till the end of the month, so you're running out of time. Use the coupon code BEAR for 25% off any package that you choose. Go ahead and take a look at the links below. Any package you choose, 25% off. So yeah, that is all the time I have for today. If you enjoyed the content, please leave it a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And if there are any projects you want me to take a look at, leave them in the comment section down below. And until next time, please trade safe. It is jungle out there.